welcome back to another episode of the MindSets podcast. Second one of the year. Chow down on that. Charles, how you doing?
I was having a really good start to the year, Angus, until this morning.
I was hoping you were going to be upbeat today.
Yeah, no. I'm going to be more upbeat. I just need to get this off my chest and share it with the listeners who I think will also find this funny. But I have a new Yeti water bottle. I have a new Yeti coffee mug.
Hold on a minute now.
Not sponsored.
Yeah, not sponsored.
Yeah.
Off the back of last week's episode.
Yeah.
Not yet.
Not yet. We're working on it. And they don't look even remotely similar. They're not even the same shape. But in my days at 5:30 this morning when I got to the gym, I had coffee in one, I had water in the other. And what I do with my water in the morning, I get my electrolytes. I wasn't thinking, I ripped open the electrolytes. I went to pour it into the water vessel and went straight into the black coffee vessel. So I had this.
How quickly did you realise that?
As I was pouring, I was like, that's no good. And at 5:30 in the morning, there's little hope other than my black coffee to get me through my 3 hours of back-to-back coaching. And as I did it, members started walking in and they all found it very funny and I was very upset.
Did you try and finish it, get through the whole lot?
So it was lychee flavored electrolytes.
Is that a strong flavor?
It's pretty strong.
Oh, okay.
And like, I wouldn't be able to describe to you or explain to you what lychee flavor is.
No.
But it doesn't go with black coffee.
Oh.
So yeah, it was a tough start to the morning. I did try it. I was like, I'm not particularly fussy, but I can't drink that.
That's horrible.
It was a tough start.
Do you know what?
Morning.
Even though like you're an adult, so you're like, well, that's not going to define my day. It does a little bit.
Well, no, it's all about framing. Because then I was like, it can't possibly get worse.
Did it?
No.
Well, there you go then.
Exactly.
What a great day.
I know.
What a great day. That's the worst thing that's
And
happened.
what a great episode this is going to be.
Fantastic. Well, let's kick it off then. For those that are unaware, we're now doing news in 2-minute format.
Yeah.
And what that means is because we had some issues last year where we waffled and rambled, we've decided to rein it in and get competitive with ourselves. And we're going to try and give you the best sports news updates you can get in 2 minutes. Do you want me to kick us off this particular
I reckon
time?
you're going to have to. That's
Okay,
great.
this is going to be quick, so make sure you're listening. Ready, steady, go. John Harbaugh and Mike Tomlinson have both stepped down from their coaching positions in the NFL, which is crazy because that's the first time they've been out of a job in 18 years. So that's the Baltimore Ravens and the Pittsburgh Steelers that are out of a coach. In college American football, we've got Indiana, who are currently number 1 ranked, first time possibly ever that's happened. They're going to the national championship final against Miami U, first time in a long time. They've been there as well. We're switching footballs to El Clásico, Barcelona versus Real Madrid. It was Barcelona 3-2 to Real Madrid. Quite a convincing victory, actually. But talking about convincing victories, Crystal Palace, reigning champions of the FA Cup, they lost to Macclesfield in the FA Cup this season. Crazy. If we're switching over to women's football, we've got Man City, who look like they're going to absolutely dominate this league. They've played 12, they've won 11, whereas if you look at Liverpool, who's bottom of the table, they've played 12, they've only won 4, and they have lost 8. Then we move on to the Winter Olympics. We've got Chloe Kim, who's a snowboarding halfpipe gold medalist for the US. She's won it twice. She's dislocated her shoulder just a few weeks out of the competition, so that's crazy. The next most crazy news from the Winter Olympics is that in hockey, rinks aren't going to be finished for the Olympics, apparently. Anyway, Tabitha Stoecker, silver, the Euro champs in skeleton. She's British. She's going to be a medal hopeful for us in the Winter Olympic Games, and I'm passing over to you for however long we've got left.
I don't even know where to start.
You've got 40 seconds.
Oh my God. Jake Dearden, I guess this is less official sporting news, but still equally impressive. He set out to run a 2:19 marathon in Houston. I think that was last weekend or the weekend before. He just missed it. He ran a 2:22, which is also unbelievable given the size of the guy.
That's 17-minute 5Ks for the whole time.
Yeah, and just like unbelievable performance. And like seeing that, I think he definitely has a sub 2:20 in the tank, which I think will prove a lot of people wrong.
You've got 10 seconds.
And off the back of that, Truett Hanes has also announced that he's going to go for the Olympic trials for the marathon, which is also ridiculous.
He is a freak.
He is.
He's the guy that runs in jeans.
He might be like the epitome of hybrid.
That was 1 minute 59 seconds. Thank you very much.
Smashed it.
I do have one thing that I want to talk about that's not news.
Okay.
So now we're into the normal part of the podcast. I can talk about this quickly.
So talk slower.
Jake Dearden with his 2:22. I heard today that he had something like 19 gels throughout the race.
Wow.
He averaged, that could be wrong. He averaged a gel more than every 5K.
Okay.
which is, so he was having a gel pretty much every 20 minutes, which is crazy, especially because, so he's sponsored by BPN, so they have the Go gels.
Yeah.
So they've got quite a high carb loading in them. But just his ability to consume that amount of fuel is so impressive.
I think it is really interesting, and like something maybe in future episodes we talk about, because it's like he is bigger than most marathon runners. So I'm sure he's consuming, well, he obviously is consuming more fuel than your typical marathon runner. But it is interesting I'd like to see the research to go, this is the fuel that you need to be using, Jake, during your marathon. Because I always think that I take on more fuel when I'm running long compared to what other people are using. And again, like I'm probably heavier than most typical runners. So it is interesting to see, but I mean, it still seems like a lot of gel to be consuming.
One more question.
And the state of his stomach.
One more question for you. If you're Jake Dearden,
Yeah.
you said you're going to run a 219. You ran a 222, which is very impressive.
Yeah.
But you're also in the elite 15 of High Rocks.
Yeah.
Now what do you do?
I think he'll probably now switch focus, and I don't want to speak on his behalf. He'll switch focus back to High Rocks and then potentially run again at the end of this year.
Valencia,
Could be.
faster course.
It could be. Who knows? Or something similar, or you know, when you're that close to it, his body will need a long time to recover. But it would seem a shame to not kick on from that training and kind of with that added race experience. Because did I read that was his second marathon? I think so.
Is it?
I think that might be his, which is again like insane. Like it's doing the rounds on social media, and I see lots of running coaches and running influencers talking about him and Truett Hanes. But like the guy is a freak, and like he's obviously very committed to it, and he's very talented. And I'd love to see him reach his goal. But to be that close must be frustrating for him, but also like equally impressive.
I'm calling it right now. Jake Dearden, top 5 at the World Champs in Stockholm for the Elite 15, and then runs a 2:18 in Valencia later this year.
2:18. That's fast, man. That's
I'm calling
super
it.
fast.
Don't let me down.
I think that puts him like, that would put him top 100 marathon times of 2025, which actually doesn't sound that impressive, but it is ridiculously impressive.
Ridiculous.
Yeah,
Especially
crazy.
if that's not your main discipline,
Yeah,
supposedly.
and I completely probably made that fact up, but
So
someone
it was interesting though. That's what
it did sound good. It did sound good.
Well, we're moving into the next section. So the next staple section of our podcast now is Grind My Gears. We're not leaving you guys hanging. We're getting straight into the nitty gritty. And we've had some fantastic submissions this week. The first one we got was actually a voice note from a Mr. Charlie Bottrell.
Yeah.
He is well known in the fitness space for being the connoisseur of meal deals. He's particularly interested in the episodes where we have brought those in.
Yeah.
When he comes back on soon enough, he will be having a bit of a meal deal breakdown with us. However, in his local Tesco, his gears have been ground recently. So he understands that Tesco have got the snack side of the meal deal, which can be from the bakery. And in particular at the moment, he's a big fan of getting a pretzel. However, in his current Tesco's, the bakery bit is disconnected from where the rest of the meal deal is, and there's a gate, like a security gate. What that means is,
What?
so basically you go in to the meal deals. So I've actually been to the area. It's not the nicest of areas.
Okay.
So this Tesco's got some good security in the meal deal section. Once you've picked your meal deal, you go through a security gate that basically leads you to paying.
Okay.
Now, you can,
never seen
once
that
you
before.
step out of that gate, you can go to other parts of the shop, but the next thing you have to do is go to pay.
Sure.
Now, the problem for Charlie at the moment is pretzel stock has been diabolical.
Yeah.
But you can't see if the pretzels are in stock before you get there. So he's banking on it, choosing his drink selectively, choosing his main course selectively, and hoping that the pretzels are there. But when they're not, he has to set the alarm off by going the wrong way.
doesn't have a snack.
Because he doesn't have a snack.
And he's not paying full price for those 2 items.
Exactly.
I see it.
So
yeah.
it's fair to say he's rather upset at the moment.
Yeah.
The pretzel stock, and that has ground
I can
Charlie Bottrell's gears.
fully appreciate why. However, I think we need to add something else, because I forgot to say it in the last podcast, and this leads nicely into it. We talk comically about meal deals, like the volume we talk about meal deals, like it's a big thing, it's a big topic. We like talking about it. Obviously Charlie does as well. I feel like we can actually hold some credibility in the sandwich space in this podcast now, because if you haven't got Nectar Card, they do like a Nectar Card Wrapped at the end of the year, a little bit like Spotify Wrapped. Club Card do the same thing as well.
They do.
And you can see what you purchased, how much you purchased of it.
Oh, this is such a cool thing.
Well, it's not actually cool at all. It's actually fairly tragic.
Yeah.
But I went on my Nectar Wrapped, at the beginning of January because I was interested to see basically how much I'd spent and saved. But it turned out that not only was I the number one purchaser of the pulled pork sub in my local Sainsbury's, but I was the number one purchaser in the whole of England for that one sandwich, which I think that adds some credibility to us talking about meal deals.
If I remember correctly, you went into Sainsbury's something like 430 times last year.
It averaged out as like 1.3 times a day.
No days off.
Given the fact that I also was not in the country for a good couple of weeks. So there were days where I was averaging like maybe 3-4 times in Sainsbury's, plus my 190 something visits to Tesco. Basically all I did last year was go fucking shopping.
If you want to see a live reaction, because I've not had the sandwich that he was buying before, if you want to see a live reaction and I can basically potentially shit on you for one of the worst sandwich choices.
It's so good.
I'm quite excited by it. And if you've bought that many and you are the number one purchaser in the UK, it has to be pretty good.
It says a lot about me if it's not good.
I was pretty upset with mine. Lidl also did a similar thing.
Yeah.
However, I apparently haven't been shopping nearly as much as I thought I had. And I was proud of the fact, however, that one of the main things that was in my basket was chicken breast. But that's like the most boring thing as well.
Boring.
That's pretty boring. Like that's why when supermarkets were like, oh, we should do that, they didn't think it through, because now I've looked it down and gone, wow, I'm boring.
Also, it's like really depressing that I spent so much money in Sainsbury's and like I saved £22 or something or like that was how much net to savings I got.
I'm pretty sure I've saved that on one purchase. You go to the Habitat range and you see something that's cheap and you save £22 or something.
Terrible.
Anyway, slightly distracted.
Sorry.
However, bringing it back into the meal deal area, one of the things that has been grinding mine and other people's gears, I haven't seen it in a while, but someone told me about this, which is phenomenal. British society has gone so far downhill that Red Bull cans and other energy cans, not just Red Bull, have can locks on them because people are shoplifting them. And they're these like little plastic things, which they'll undo for you at the till. But it's an energy drink. Is the economy so bad that it's worth the investment in those locks to just stop someone nabbing a Red Bull? When, correct me if I'm wrong, especially in London, every supermarket has at least one security guard now.
Yeah, at least.
With a camera.
Yeah.
Why do I have to ask someone to take the lock off my
It is crazy,
energy?
isn't it? Do you think, it must be the supermarket that is
I would assume
funding that initiative. It's not Red Bull are like, you must put locks on our cans.
Yeah, no way.
But also just standing and waiting for like verification of my age to buy a white monster with my meal deal.
I think I've told you this before, but I got ID'd by someone for an energy drink in my local village that I grew up in by someone that was in the year below me at school. And I didn't have ID, and therefore they had to refuse me the drink.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Just doing their job. And I respect that.
Terribly.
And you should respect that as well.
No respect at all. Really.
Following protocol.
Really
I respect that.
Gears. That really round my gears. The next one we've got is from me. I just added it to the list. Oranges that don't peel well.
Yeah, I saw that on your story. That was a bit sad.
Why are we growing them anymore? If we're doing that much genetic mutation.
The easy peelers.
Easy peelers
Why are you
only.
buying the ones that don't peel easy?
Well, I wasn't aware that I had. That's the problem.
Yeah, okay,
I assumed that they all should be.
Yeah, that's the gear grinding.
Yeah. Next one is we got two messages similar to this. So I'm tying it all into one, but it's something I've also witnessed quite a lot and ties nicely into today's topic of choice. But working in etiquette in the gym is terrible.
Yeah.
So recently, and I'll give my personal experience. Recently, I was in a pure gym and I went over to someone who was using the abductor machine. I've been told it's one of my weakness areas and I'm trying to work on those. So I went over and I was like, hey, how many sets have you got left? They said 3.
Okay.
Now I'm thinking, cool. I see you sat on your phone for 3 minutes at a time between your sets. I'm expecting them to go, but you can work in. Because if you're going to take 15 minutes, I would expect, And that offer never came. And I was like, oh, how long do you reckon you'll be? And they were like, oh, probably like at least 10. And I was like, okay, I'd done everything else.
Yeah.
So I actually did stand there like a mug. Like that's literally how I felt.
Just stood watching them.
Yeah, and I felt like a bit of a creep, to be honest, because as you can imagine by the typical user of that machine, they weren't male. And I just felt awkward about it. But people just need to understand, if you say 1 set, the person is fine to wait or should be fine to wait. 2 sets, maybe if you're going to be quick. Just always throw it out there anyway. Even if I've got 1 set, I'll be like, you can get on it now if you want.
Yeah.
And I'll just do a set.
I'm more interested to know how many sets they were doing in total if they would still had 3 to go. How many sets did you do?
I did 3 sets.
Okay.
So
then you're like, well, is there actually much point in doing more than 3 sets? Why were they doing more?
the only time I'm not keen for someone to work in with me, if it's something like a bench or plate loaded where like you've got to swap it all around, it's a mess. So if someone comes over to me and they're like, oh, how many sets have you got left? And I'm on the bench and I have got like maybe 3 left. I'll be like, I've literally just sat down.
Yeah.
Because I probably have literally just put the weight that I want
And
to
then you're
work
like,
on.
I'm going to do some warm-up sets. I've got 3 sets and I'm going to take 2.5 minutes worth of rest. Like max you're going to be there is like 15 minutes. So like you can go and do something else.
The other reason specifically to bench that I wouldn't want someone to working with me, no, not even that.
Oh, really?
Is if they're like, do you want me to spot you? No, I don't.
I'm good, thanks.
I'm really good. I'd rather die.
Really?
Let it pin me. Let it pin me.
Let me get squashed by a bar.
Yeah.
Really? You're against being spotted?
I don't like it. I think it's just a really awkward social interaction.
It is quite intimate.
It's
The way I'd describe
it's
it.
very intimate, and you're so like, you're exposing yourself so much.
Like, this is your
I'm
ego.
trusting this stranger with my life.
I don't think it's that deep.
Have you not seen the failure videos where someone asks for a spot to come over and they have no idea what they're doing? Or the funnier fail
but they're
videos where they're
lifting a
like
lot heavier
holding the
than
bar
you.
down on their chest? They're hilarious.
Squashing you.
Yeah.
I had a weird one where I was spotting someone benching the other day. There's like, when you're getting spotted, maybe you're like failing your last rep, you're still trying to push. I'm there, this guy just stopped. And I'm like, in this position, you want me to hold 110? I wasn't ready for it.
Okay. So I do this really funny thing that I shouldn't do when people ask me to spot them. First of all, I'm delighted. You've picked me out of a crowd and you've gone, you're good to spot me. And I'm like, thank you. I've really worked on this that you feel that rapport. Anyway, when it comes to the time that the person is inevitably failing that rep, I never ever want someone to feel like they didn't give it a good effort, even if they haven't.
Yeah, you must.
So toxic trait from me and has nearly cost me multiple fingers. I only ever spot with 2 fingers from each hand. So if someone has pretty much given up, I'm still only going to do it with 2 fingers. So I've been there like, oh my God, my tendons are going to rip off my fingers here. But when they stand up, I'm like, I literally just needed these, man. You did all of that. You can basically claim
All
that,
you, bro.
And I walk away and I'm like, oh my God, I'm in so much pain.
That's bad spotting etiquette for safety. But you only ever, okay, this actually grinds my gears when we're going down a rabbit hole, but it's so relevant. But it's like spotting, but you're doing too much. You've got main character energy when you're not the main character on the bench.
Yeah.
Because it's like you only spot, and this is useful practical advice in the gym, especially if you're going to go and spot someone. You only ever spot on the bench press when the bar starts coming back down. Because it's like, that's when it can get dangerous where you're like, you have to save them. But if the bar's moving up, do not touch it.
Get your hands
if
off
the
that.
bar is stationary, do not help them because they squeeze, they're going to fight for it.
Mentally switch on.
Yeah.
Do not go near that bar.
That's like the warning signs. You're like, okay, maybe I'm ready to work.
So here's my spot cues, and you can tell me if you like them, and then we can use that as advice for other people. You asked me to spot you. I go, yeah. How many reps you going for? Cool.
Nice.
I position myself behind before we have to do an awkward thing where I'm standing over your head. I quite like the approach that like, I'm so confident in you, I'm going to stand back.
Yeah.
I'm like away from it, like all you. But I will ask, do you want to lift off? If you want to lift off, I'll help you. When I give you the bar, I'm going to say your bar, and I'm going to obviously take my hands away, and then I'm going to go stand back and relax.
Yeah.
I'm not going to go on my phone, but I'm going to make it seem like I might as well be.
Yeah.
Then I'm just going to watch very carefully.
The mental psychology.
I'm going to watch very
spotter
carefully.
believes in me.
If this person is getting close to the number they said and they look fine, then I might be like, yep, like quietly. I'm not trying to speak over your music if you've got music in.
Yeah.
I will listen out for if they go 1 more, 2 more. Because they might be like, oh, I'm having a good set. I'm actually going to go for 2 more. And I'm like, cool. If I start to see them slow down, then I'll put my hand, if you're watching this, you can see. But if there's an imaginary bar here, I'll put one hand over under and I'll just have it out, but nowhere near the bar.
Yeah.
Once they go down and when they start coming back up, I'm like, yep. and then I'm just waiting. And if, like you said, if the bar goes down,
Then
I'm there.
Yeah.
But again, I'm not yanking it off you. I'm helping you until you say nah, and then I'm gonna actually try and take some weight.
That's an experienced spotter. That's someone who's done it before. But I would never also then go, they told me they're doing a set of 8 and they've done 8 reps. I'm never going to be like, one more, bro. I'm never interfering with their training and be like, you should do more. Just like, I'll probably help them back into the rack and then I'm never speaking to you again.
Question for you, quickly, scenario based. You're spotting someone for bench. They're going for a very heavy weight. They ask you to come over. They go death grip. Do you say anything?
No.
Do you prepare any differently?
I might be on more high alert, but probably not. I mean, they're probably freaking strong if they're doing that.
The only reason I asked this question is I was at my university gym. Someone was going for a personal best of 120 kilograms, which was a personal best by 10 kilos, which they felt they were ready for, to be fair. They went death grip. They chose not to go for me as a spotter. They chose a friend and they they took it off the rack. As they started doing them push up, slipped out of their hand, landed on their forehead. Knurling mark on the forehead. Crazy to go on a night out with that as well. But yeah, no. Death grip changed my life that day. Anyway, have you got any grind my gears? I feel like I offloaded a lot.
I mean, that was a good grind my gear, like an impromptu spotting grind my gear. I think that was good. But I do have one, and it's been coming up. This may be out of jealousy, but people posting their golf round on Strava. I don't know if you've seen that, and it's like it comes up as a heat map of them doing their golf round, and I'm like, Strava. It's for running. It's for a little bit of cycling, even swimming. Hide it off your feed. There's no route. There's no map. I want to see a map, and I want to see some stuff. I don't want to see you shooting 125 around 18 holes.
I was going to say the opposite. I think it's acceptable if your handicap is like higher than 30. Because I think that's funny then to look at because it's just like zigzagging.
You can't even really see that. All you see is like the heat map of you clearly played 18 holes. And I know there's like golf function on most smartwatches, but I just don't think it has a place on Strava.
Yeah.
Unless you like legit have done the worst or best round of your life. I mean, the worst round more funny. But like people aren't putting enough effort into their Strava either. Now I've got rid of Instagram. I spend even more time on Strava, and I'm curating my post. I'm having a think about the caption. I'm putting a meme in there as well. I'll get 9 kudos for all my effort. But other people just like morning run, morning hit.
Possibly the oldest thing you've ever said is that I'm really putting effort into my Strava.
Curating it.
I'm curating my Strava. Instagram, that's for the kids.
Yeah, I'm not even embarrassed about it. I love my Strava.
Well, let's move on to, unless you've got anything else, let's move on to today's topic. So today's topic, pretty apt. We discussed similar sorts of things last year, but we thought we'd come back around and take a slightly different approach in giving bits of advice on what to do with your training this year, especially if you're going after something new, whether that's a different set of goals, a different sport entirely, or you're new to the idea of training completely. Do you want to kick us off with this one?
Yeah, it's a nice one. I think going into the new year, I mean, we spoke about this in depth last year on the podcast. I don't like resolutions necessarily, but I like having goals, and I think everyone should have a goal. But it's so contextual when you talk about training because, like you say, some people might have loads of training experience, but they might be starting something new, or you might be just getting into fitness and that's your new thing. But definitely having some goals, and we don't have to go into it too deeply, but making sure your goals are actually like realistic. And we have that anagram framework.
Is it SMART?
SMART. Do you know the SM? You've got it. I know you've got it.
SMART is sensible,
specific,
measurable,
yeah,
attainable or achievable,
yeah,
realistic,
yeah,
time-based,
yeah, timely. And then do you know there's like an add-on if you want to go smarter?
Oh,
do you have the E and the R in the locker?
Not a chance.
So evaluate is the E and then reward is the R. So you can make it a slightly longer anagram. But I mean, it feels like overkill, but it is a nice way if you're going, okay, what do I want out of my training? Especially, I think if you're newer to the gym and you're like, my goal this year is to get fitter and I'm going to do that through going to the gym, having some like bite-sized manageable chunks along the way to actually measure or give you some tangible progress to see, okay, I'm getting fitter, what does fitness mean? Like for some people, fitter might just be getting stronger. For some people, it might be aerobic fitness, or I might have a goal. I want to do a 5K in X time or whatever it happens to be. So it's nice to have a framework for setting goals. And I think that's a really useful way of doing it.
Yeah, I think a lot of people will dive into achieving. For some people, they choose a goal, but then don't really think about what needs to change around that.
Yeah.
And if you take the example, and we mentioned this one last year, but a very common one is people try and get into running as a way to get fit. Some people say, I'm going to do couch to 5K, which we've discussed before is just one method to get to running that distance. Other people will go, I think I'm just going to get into running. And different approaches work for different people, but there's not necessarily always the consideration to make that possible. And when I say that, if I'm going to go and do a gym session now, as someone that's been going to the gym a lot before, it's really hard for me to leave the house if my rucksack isn't somewhere near the door. I know where my trainers are. I know that I've got some sort of fuel or snack in the bag. I've got the right clothes on, or at least in the bag. If those things aren't done, then it's really hard for me to get out the door. If they are, it's actually really not that hard. But if I was going in completely afresh, just like, I'm going to start going to the gym more this year, the one thing I probably wouldn't say in attachment to that sentence is by always making sure my gym bag is ready, or that it's always in a convenient location. And I think that's one of the things that people
underestimate
and underestimate is if you see all of the cringy quotes that are online, it's like, the biggest thing that you achieve when you run X marathon time is the person you became to do it. But like, that's actually so true. You change as a person to achieve something, and you need to think about how you need to change as a person in order to be able to achieve it in the first place.
Or like, the best gym is the most convenient gym, because if the gym is it's so inconvenient to get to, if a water pipe
we're talking about this. My local gym has been closed for 9 days now. That's mental.
Yeah, that is really tough.
Yeah.
Anyway, back on point. So it's just like, make sure that when you're getting into whatever your new activity is, you have some way of actually tracking progress. And I think it's very easy when you do start, you obviously have much higher motivation. You're talking about now going to the gym can sometimes be difficult, but you've been doing it for so long that sometimes the motivation is difficult and it can be tedious. When you start something new, everything's really fresh, and it's like me getting into gut health and wanting to grow my own bacteria to ferment my own yogurt. Like, the motivation's high and I want to do that. But in 5 years' time, am I still going to have that same motivation? That was a really niche example. So it's like, don't do too much too soon, and give yourself lots of time to rest and recover, and basically don't lead yourself to burnout, because that could be a surefire way of making your goals not happen.
I want to take an example of something that I saw happen recently, but there's numerous examples in sport of one athlete switching to a different sport and actually being pretty good at it. We've actually done episodes on it. They're more sort of different sports when you're looking at Michael Jordan going from basketball to baseball. But if we take it from the approach of a fitness level, where an example that I'm aware of recently was Max Whitlock did some work with runner. Max Whitlock is a famous 3-time Olympic champion and world champion at the pommel horse in gymnastics. He retired from gymnastics a while ago, and recently Runner decided to do a 6-week plan to help him improve his 5-kilometer running time. And so his initial test, I had the chance to speak to him. I don't think he sandbagged this, but he ran a 29:40 something on his first 5-kilometer attempt. And then 6 weeks later, we retested with Runner. I think it's out on YouTube, especially by this point it should be. You can watch it. If you don't like spoilers, skip ahead 10 seconds, but he ran it in 20 minutes and 22 seconds, which is taking a third of his time off, which is crazy impressive. If he took the same amount of time off again, he'd have a world record. So put that into perspective. But he wasn't coming from an experienced background in fitness of 0, whereas some people might be when they're doing couch to 5K. You then take the likes, and we've already mentioned him in this podcast, but Charlie. People might start this year and go, I'm not doing enough zone 2. I've seen it all over the internet for high rocks. Everybody's doing zone 2. All runners, anything with cycling and Ironmans, all they're doing is zone 2 easy work. I'm just going to do loads of it. you can't sit on a bike for 4 hours a day. You can't sit on a bike probably for an hour a day when you start doing it. Your body would get very, very fatigued by trying to stay in zone 2. If your aerobic fitness is generally good, because you're not adapted to the bike. Take someone like Charlie, who comes from a professional cycling background.
Yeah.
4 hours on a bike is actually an easy day. 6 hours is what he was used to. So he can do that, and his body can handle it quite well because that's his experience in that field. So if you're taking on a new sport or a new fitness plan, routine, you've got new goals for the year, ask yourself right now, are you actually conditioned for it? And I think that's one massive, massive thing when you look at sports like High Rocks. When I moved over to High Rocks, I thought I was going to be great at it because I was like, I'm strong and I've always been able to run. Wow, was I wrong? And then even when I've tried to do other things, just different sports that I am kind of shifting fitness away from High Rock style training into, I'm like, damn, I'm actually not that well prepared for that. And so I'm sort of personally in like a middle ground at the moment where I can do everything. I'm just not
like general adaptation rather than like the specific stuff.
Exactly. And so if you might have a background of various sports, but if you're going to be picking and going down the route of one particular sport or a couple of particular sports this year, you can't really take the approach that just because you're good at it once or just because you are fit in your head that you should be able to take on the load similar to other people that you maybe even know. You've really got to tease your body into the adaptations.
I think that's a nice little piece of advice. And I'd also caveat that with, if you're getting into the gym as like your specific, I want to get a bit fitter and healthier. If you're going to focus on anything, it's just focusing on basics. Like do the basics well. And that's in all facets of your health, whether that's the physical fitness side or like the recovery side as well. Just do the basics really well, get good intensity, prioritize pain-free range of motion, and just stay flexible and mobile basically. And then around that, eat good, sleep good. It's like, I know it's easier said than done, but it's like those are the basics. And if you can do those, you will lead a much healthier, better life, I think.
Tell you one thing that I'm personally focusing on a lot this year is my lower body training. I've noticed really ever since I got into running, which doesn't necessarily mean there's any correlation, but my lower body strength has quite frankly been poo since I switched over from American football, where it was one of the main things that I was focusing on. And I look back at the sessions that I was doing when I was training for American football, and I used to train legs 2 to 3 times a week.
Okay.
The intensity of which wasn't crazy. I would have heavy weeks, deload, that kind of thing, and do different things across each session. But one of the really prevalent things for me wasn't just like mobility in a general sense, but I would do a lot of pauses right at the bottom of a squat. And I think about it now, and yeah, I'm a bit older, but I'm not actually old. When I get up in the morning, if I was to try and get into a deep squat, and let's say I was training first thing, it would take me 15 minutes to really warm up my lower body enough to be comfortable and pain-free to do a full range of motion squat, probably even at body weight.
Yeah.
And that's because I've let that slip for a while, and I've probably got stiffer and I'm not doing my mobility as regularly. But I've started to say, I really wish I was squatting, twice a week for me, because I had so much benefit of that in my training. I was getting so much stronger, so much more quickly. And I haven't even been in like a body weight deep squat position for so long.
Yeah.
We're full cut. That's really cute.
He's having a dream.
He is having a dream.
I'm sure the microphones wouldn't have picked it up.
No, they wouldn't have done. I know, because if it happens again, we'll just...
Yeah.
I'm not going to make eye contact with you, but we'll bow on. So one of the things that I'm trying to do more, and I'll mention it, and this means I've got to hold myself accountable to it, is I'm actually going to try and just sit in a squat position way more often.
Yeah.
And like not even be at the gym. But if I'm doing my teeth or something like that, I'll just sit there for like 20 to 30 seconds, because I'll tell you right now, you might be hearing me and going, what's he talking about? Do it right now and tell me it's comfortable.
Yeah. I mean, I'm sure there'll be a lot of people who will be able to just sit down to the bottom of a squat and go, what are you talking about? But there's so much research about like genetics and how deep set your hips are, and people from different places have better mobility, and culturally there's more aptitude to squatting because that's how people still go to the toilet, or that's still how people sit and eat. They sit in a squat position, and like definitely in Western culture and civilization, that's very quickly conditioned out of you to sit in a chair. But like, as primal as it sounds, literally our ancestors, however many hundreds of thousands of years ago, when they went to go to the toilet, they squatted.
Well, even if you go to different cultures in the world, so I had the benefit of traveling Asia, but if you go to Asia, a lot of the street vendors and just the locals, when they have nothing better to do, they just sit on their ankles.
It's a resting position.
Asian sit,
Yeah,
Asian
yeah.
squat.
Yeah. It's a resting position. So the fact that you're going, it's so uncomfortable, I can't sit down there for longer than a minute. It's like, you do need to spend longer doing that.
Much longer.
Yeah.
And that probably plays into, I've mentioned it before, but like a little bit of a back flare up that I have. But
Because your hips are tight and your back is so good at compensating for tightness and elsewhere. Yeah. Honestly, like, it's a very easy, quick fix without giving unsolicited physio advice. And it's like the easiest way to just get looser and more mobile. It's just like sitting in the squat.
I would be interested to know, but I would relatively safely say, I don't think, if you're listening to this wondering if that is a good idea or not, I don't think anyone's going to say that sitting with no added weight on your ankles or trying to get into a deep squat position a couple of times a day for like 30 seconds, I don't think anyone's going to say that's bad for you.
Yeah. I think it's a classic. It's like, I challenge you guys, every time you go to put the kettle on or you go to put the microwave on, within reason, you're like cooking a jacket potato, you're like 25 minutes later, go and just go squat position.
Yeah.
I had a client ages ago who was just getting into fitness and like really, really deconditioned. And we did something similar. A couple of weeks in, we went, every time you turn the kettle on, we're going to do a plank. And like, that was just some general extra fitness that they did, but it started to make almost like gamify fitness. And I think that's the way you get people to stay engaged and enjoy it a bit more.
And also, what's more embarrassing, because some people will be like, no, that's quite embarrassing if you can't, if I can't even do a squat with my body weight or get in that position and it hurts, like, that's quite embarrassing. Is it more embarrassing that it hurts for like 2 weeks, if that, or is it more embarrassing that you just can't do it at all? Because like, if you don't do something about it, you're never going to be able to do something about it, and you'll be 50, if you're lucky, getting pain going up the stairs because that angle is too much.
Yeah. No, it's a really good point. And also, like, we could talk about this for ages and ages and ages, but my nephew, who's must be 3 now, when he's playing around with his toys, every now and again he just sits and squats. Perfect squat. His torso has really nice inclination. He's like the perfect lumbar position in his lower back. His knees are in line with his toes. He's never been taught that. It's just genetics. And it's like, for him, it's, I'm playing with my toys, I'm having a good time, stand straight back up. If I do that, my knees click and you're like groaning. It's just like we're being conditioned out of that as a resting position. So yeah, it's really interesting. It's really interesting. I'm glad you brought it up.
When we're looking at other classic things that people do at the beginning of the year, is not only do they necessarily try these new trends, we mentioned on the last episode things like 75 hard and 45 forward, but people try trends, but people are all too quick to hop on, not necessarily even shortcut investments, but things that they can invest in to make the whole process easier. And there's two very big sides to this argument, in that there are some incredible investments you can make to really make things easier, and they're quite person specific. But then there's also some there's some scams, or there's some things that just do not work for a lot of people, but you need to be very, very aware of before you get involved. Is there anything that immediately jumps to mind that might be a good or a bad investment? And we'll start with that side.
I think so. And I guess it just does depend, again, context-wise, what you're training for and what your goals are. But I think the first thing that people gravitate towards in the fitness industry, or a push to gravitate towards, is like supplementation, whether that's protein powder or creatine or electrolytes or green powder or you name it, there's a powder for it. I think the first thing that you have...
Great night out.
That's so terrible. I'm sure that will be left in. I'm like trying to be all professor. So I think it's the most important thing, and I mentioned it a second ago, it's like focus on a whole balanced diet before you start supplementing on top of it. It's like just kind of like trying to polish a turd is maybe not the best phrase for it, but it's like, if your diet isn't right, then there's so much more nutrient value that you can get from your diet by just improving it. rather than going, my diet's a bit shit, I'm just going to start supplementing on top of that. Maybe protein powder is a good way if you can't get sufficient protein in your diet, because relatively protein powder is quite cheap for what you get it for. But other than that, I just stay clear of supplements and going down that rabbit hole until you've nailed your actual diet.
Yeah, I think that's a good point. I just want to backtrack as well. Like, don't condone any form of drug. Don't. But one of the other powders that we have mentioned is creatine. That's very low cost, easy to add into your diet. Again, is a substance that you can get naturally from things like red meat. But like you said, if your diet is wrong, then you're not really going to have any progress. I mean, you can add 20 grams of protein by having some protein powder, but is that going to take you from where you're currently at and your lifestyle you're currently at and being the absolute epitome of who you want to be? No.
I think it's interesting that you bring up creatine, because I will have to backtrack now, because that might be one of the ones where I go, actually, that has so much benefit, not just for your training,
just generally,
and like your brain function as well. And there's so much research on it. It's like the first thing that people jump towards when they're talking about creatine. They're like, oh, it's the most researched supplement. And it's probably true. And it's like, I would recommend it to everyone and anyone, but I would also recommend doing your own research around it before you start taking it. So that might be one, but I don't want people who are getting into fitness and getting into training to go, all right, I need to start supplementing, because you don't. There's so much value from just improving your diet, improving your sleep, and just training more and training more consistently.
Yeah.
Especially if you're new to it, all the newbie gains that you get in the first couple of months is like huge.
I'm going to play devil's advocate
a
little bit on that. I agree. I think there are so many sports, especially within the fitness space, you don't really need to buy anything to start and try it. But if you are going into a new year and you know that you're going to be doing something slightly different, and you think, maybe if I buy these supplements, that might actually make me. And for example, with me, I understand that the benefit of taking creatine really only matters as much as it does, or at least it compounds if you are consistent in taking it on an everyday basis. So if I am going to be taking creatine, then I should not be wasting some of the potential benefits in my training if I don't train and I'm going to take it anyway. So it almost is an additional motivation slightly to actually do it. So if you need something like that, maybe it's worth considering. I also mentioned, I think a couple of months ago, I bought pre-workout again, because I was like, I kind of liked the whole process, and I'm very much like this. If I'm about to start to do something, whether that's work or a session, I like to have something that triggers me being in that process, not arriving at my desk or arriving at the gym and being like, okay, it's go time. I like to kickstart it a bit before, get myself in the headspace, boom, I'm there. Whether or not the pre-workout really does much for me, I mean, you could probably just give me a placebo. I mean, I'm itchy as hell, so it's not placebo, but you could give me a placebo drink or something for work. You see other nootropic drinks that are appearing. I would argue that's probably what they are. If I have one of those, I'm like, I'm about to smash out some work, or I'm about to have a great gym session. Maybe that's worth a go if you feel like you need a bit more motivation to do something that you're not currently doing, or something you want to change.
And it's like, if you are struggling with motivation to go to the gym and you have pre-workout, you can't then just go and sit on the sofa. It's like, I have to go to the gym now, because otherwise this is going to be a weird night.
The other thing that I would potentially say as an investment that I would consider avoiding is buying loads of equipment for your home. We see at the moment, consumerism and manufacturing is going crazy, and you can buy like, what's the really trendy fitness thing that are in classes with beds with springs?
Reformer
Pilates. You can buy Reformer Pilates
give me something better
in supermarkets.
Yeah.
Like, they come in the middle of Lidl or in Aldi, whatever, and people get them for home because they're now going to be into Reformer Pilates. Guarantee you that you get that thing out, and even if it is good quality, it doesn't quite give the same vibe and energy of the lovely boutique gym space with your friends and that sort of thing. And it can seem like, I love that thing, I want to do that thing, I'm going to get it at home and I'm going to do it all the time. And in actual fact, it has the opposite effect. The only time I would say that is a good investment, and I can speak personally on this, I've always said that I probably wouldn't want a home gym, but when times get really busy with work and when my gym is shut, for example, I'm really glad that I did buy some sort of machine where I can go and sit on a bike in the dry as well. That's really beneficial, for half an hour and get that done. Or for an hour, whatever. And Charlie Boschel, 4 hours, I'll try. But like, that's an investment that I made that again, I'm quite experienced in my training now, so I wouldn't have just done that. It was quite calculated.
Yeah.
And that's what I'm saying. If you're not, or you're seeing something new and you think, I'm going to buy all the things for it.
Yeah. I think that is like a good thing to bring up because it's very easy. And like, obviously, if you're going into a hobby where it's like, okay, I'm going to start jujitsu or something similar where you're like, there's specific items of clothing that I need to wear for training or similar. I mean, it can be anything. It's like you can't start playing tennis if you don't have a tennis racket. So it's like there are certain things that you need to invest in. But let's say more broadly, you're getting into fitness. The easiest thing to get into is probably running if you're keen to get into fitness. The only thing really that you need, like really, is a pair of running trainers. Whether you go for like a really expensive pair or a really cheap pair.
You don't even need an expensive pair.
As long as it's going to support your foot and it's not going to cause any knee or hip pain, then you've got a pair of trainers, right? So it's like you don't have to go and start investing in lots of different things. I'd say if you're going to invest in your fitness, you want a gym membership. That's probably a monthly, like an expense that you're going to have to kind of swallow if you're going to get into fitness. But other than that, like you can stay clear of most things for a long time. And then maybe you like, okay, I'm going to give myself 6 to 8 months. Am I going to stick with this hobby? If the answer is yes, okay, I'm going to buy a better tennis racket or I'm going to buy better equipment. It's like the same getting into something like golf. It's such a rabbit hole. And you start looking at it and you go, that's expensive, but you can get a cheap set of clubs and you can use them. Like when I started playing golf, got a cheap set of clubs. I think my parents reluctantly bought them for me because they're like, no way is this going to stick. And I used those clubs until they literally fell apart because I just loved it and I'd play all the time. And then it's like, okay, I've proved that this is something that I'm going to do and something that I want to do. And then it's like, okay, I actually can't afford to play golf, but I've ruined my clubs. But it's like, then you can start to invest in yourself and in the sport that you want to do.
I've been thinking as we've been talking it, possibly there's two big things that I think are good investments. One, I know that you'll agree with. If in doubt or you're approaching something new, coaching.
Yeah.
Get someone that knows more than you.
Yeah.
Get someone not necessarily knows more than you, but will manage things for you and get the best out of you. Is always a coach. You're always going to be better when you're coached, which is something that is a really hard pill for me to swallow because I haven't been coached in a long time, and I'm still like, it's a mental thing for me where I'm like, I should be coached, but then I'm also like, but I don't know if I want to be right now. And that's a personal thing, but I know for a fact that money no object and time no object, everything like that, I would have a coach tomorrow. And it would make a massive, massive difference to me. The accountability side of it, as well as the benefit in knowledge and offloading some of the mental effort and having to understand how I'm supposed to achieve my own goal. The other thing, this will be interesting because this is really unlike me.
Yeah.
If you have a bit of spending money after Christmas and you're thinking, oh, I really wanted to buy that reformer bed, but now I've been told I can't.
Yeah.
What should I do? Just get a new outfit. Go down the fashion route.
Okay,
it doesn't have to be new trainers.
I wasn't expecting that.
But genuinely, I'm thinking every time I bought something new to wear to the gym or wear for a specific session, it's made me want to do the session. Not every time, but like if I bought like a really nice t-shirt for the gym or for like running or something, I'm not thinking, oh, I can't wait to run in it that one time. I'm thinking like, that's great for running.
Yeah. I know, I get what you're saying. I'm more surprised that it's you.
I know.
That advice.
Me 3.
Yeah, that's kind of
look good, feel good.
2026.
Wait, look good, feel good, live good, pay good. I've messed it up. There's a great quote by
Laugh.
Live, laugh, love, something along those lines. Anyway, I mean, are there any other investments that you think are worth mentioning?
I think those are like, we've covered the basics.
Okay, cool.
The outfit is important.
Which means then we need to put our silly hats back on.
Yeah.
We've got the game. So we've brought ourselves here. This time you're bringing the game.
Yeah.
And after last week, where there was actually a massive improvement in your score in the game, as everyone will have heard and seen, you've decided to take revenge on me for some reason.
You outed me on the podcast.
Yeah.
So if you don't understand that reference, you're going to have to go back and watch the previous episode. I mean, there's a catch-22 here because I've told Angus he doesn't know what the game is. We always keep it as a surprise. I've kind of explained to him the premise, and I've said it's kind of evil. And the problem with that is that you can very easily, next episode, just do something similar to me and make it evil to me. I also did say that Angus is going to be very good at it. All right, so let me explain the game.
Okay.
I've given it a name. All right, I've called it Hot Take Roulette, which I think
like it.
sounds great. That could be a segment, right?
Okay, welcome to Hot Take Roulette.
There'll be like a jingle.
I like it.
And everything's going to go. What? So I'm going to give you, basically, it could be a gimmick, a fad, something, a trend in the fitness industry that potentially we wouldn't necessarily agree with. All right.
Okay.
But your job, and we're going to start with 30 seconds, your job is to defend that thing
Yeah, I'm
for
going to be so
30
good at
seconds.
this.
You're going to be good at this for sure. All right. Yeah. So I think that's all you need for now. Maybe in the comments section on social media, get in touch, see if he's done a good job. Because there's no real objective scoring system.
I need to put like my Jordan Belfort hat on. I'm going to sell.
Can you sell this pen?
Yes.
So I'll get my timer up on my watch.
Okay.
We're going to start. The first one I want you to defend for 30 seconds is the grapefruit diet.
Okay.
As soon as you start talking, my timer's running.
The grapefruit diet. First of all, the thing that people struggle with most with their diet is cutting out the bad things. If you only have one key thing and key focus, it's quite simple for your brain to kind of understand, am I hungry? Am I not hungry? Because all I'm going to go for is that. I've actually heard someone else say they've done a similar thing with broccoli. If the picture comes up on their phone and they're really hungry, are they really hungry enough to eat that broccoli? It's the same with the grapefruit. If you're going for that, the other thing with grapefruit is it's got so many different sugars and the citrus element is so healthy for you.
Time. Easy. I knew you'd be good at this game. I mean, I don't necessarily advocate the grapefruit diet. I like grapefruit.
I'm going to be honest, I'm not even really sure what it was.
So
I've heard of the grapefruit technique. So that's wildly different.
What I noted down was the grapefruit diet. This is my kind of perception of it. It claims that grapefruit burns fat if eaten with every meal.
Oh,
which is not true.
No,
it's like that. I think the same thing for pineapple doesn't work like that.
No. That's a crazy thing.
Yeah, so it's like, I know what you were trying to get at, but yeah, you did good.
Okay,
Should we do the next one?
Yeah.
Have you already seen it?
No, I haven't.
With your 2020 vision?
Yeah.
It's going to be waist trainers. So it's like a corset you wear that gives you abs. Whenever you start talking.
Waist trainers have been around for centuries. They actually do have a physical impact on your body, and it is one way of measuring your progress, as well as kind of this is really difficult. I'm trying to think of a word and now I'm under time pressure. It's passive. It's passive effort. So like you could be doing your cardio and everything, but the waist trainer is making you aware of not only your posture and other parts of your training that you're putting an effort into. And like I said, it might be a motivator to continue with your training if you're going to invest in one.
Time. So what I wrote down is corsets marketed as fat loss tools. It's terrible.
Have you seen the Barbie girl that is like trained? I think she was like Russian. I mean, there's a lot of plastic surgery there, but she's like through waist training over years has got the smallest waist in the world. And she's
trying to look like a Barbie.
It's like a 20 centimeter waist. Oh. She looks like a Barbie.
Really?
It's crazy.
Yeah, it's crazy.
Yeah, but they work.
Should we do one more?
Yeah.
Cool. There's going to be like so many snippets from this podcast where it's like these guys clearly have no idea, especially Angus. Angus knows nothing.
Yeah,
he advocates
not at all.
Grapefruit diet and waist trainers. Let's go.
This is going to fall nice. If someone skipped by accident too far forward, they're now getting the wildest investment recommendations.
Yeah. It's like I've come on this for advice for starting my new training. I'm going to do
waist trainer and grapefruits.
Let's go. Oh, you're going to love this one. The vibration plate workouts. You know the drill whenever you start talking.
I don't want to leave the people listening too long, but I'm going to need a little bit more time on this one.
The old vibration plates.
Okay, I've got it.
Okay.
More and more trendy these days are far overpriced massage guns. And while using a vibration plate, when you sit in that squat position, you are activating some of those stabilizing muscles. And when you're holding onto the handles, you're deloading your body, so it's at less risk of injury. You're also allowing blood to penetrate into deeper parts of those muscles and aid recovery and flushing out some of those toxins and that sort of thing that are left behind after sessions like lactate. So you're getting a full body massage gun at a fraction of the cost.
It's like bang on 30 seconds as well. It's like the marketing pitch, the pre-written marketing pitch.
The worst thing about this is I'm half believing what I'm saying.
Yeah.
When I come up with it, I'm like, wow, that kind of makes
Sounds good. Toxins and lactate.
Yeah.
That was good.
Flush them out. I'm now genuinely, I would go and sit on one and I want to know if it's going to make my legs feel better now.
It's just going to make you shit yourself. That's where you're going.
I'm going to go for the Jake Dearden 19 gels and then go stand on the vibrating plate and see how long it takes.
How many gels you can have. So what do they say about vibration plates? Stand and shake your way to abs.
Is that it? Is that their slogan?
In brackets, allegedly. No, I think that's my slogan.
Oh, okay, allegedly.
Because your marketing pitch was way better than that.
I was going to say, is there a business that's known for the vibrating plate? Because if you're listening, my rates are very unreasonable, but so is your product. So I think we can do some talking here.
Head of like global marketing over here.
Global vibrating marketing.
Sales.
Great.
I think we leave it there. I did have a few others. I had the superfood hype. Can you remember what, like a couple of years ago when everyone was raving about the goji berry?
Oh.
And it was like, I'm going to put goji berries in everything because it's like a superfood.
If you're one of those people, when was the last time you had a goji berry? Now who looks silly? Yeah, you.
Then also, I think the carnivore diet you'd have smashed. That would have been quite good for you.
Yeah, the weirdest diet I've heard of, actually, and the grapefruit thing threw me off, and I went down this diet because of the grapefruit.
Broccoli diet.
No, potatoes.
Really?
I knew someone that ate potatoes for 60 days straight, and all they could have was potatoes.
That sounds incredible.
Awful. No, not like chips.
Oh.
Potato, like boiled potatoes.
I was going
baby
like
potatoes.
Mash, chips.
Not like they have a jack of potato, nothing on it.
No.
Just potato, plain potato. And they did it 2 years in a row. I mean, it did exactly what they wanted. It just helped them with their weight loss because it's similar to the broccoli thing and how I said about grapefruit. They only had one thing to think about. So when they were like, am I actually hungry? Because I have to be hungry for potato.
That is psychotic.
Yeah. They were quite a big person and they lost a lot of weight through it, but also...
I mean, that's good, but it's like there's probably better ways to do it.
Yeah. The thing that I was jealous of, though, and he spoke about this, for like the first 2 days after he'd finished the 60-day diet, food tasted
amazing.
So good.
Yeah, I bet.
Because if you could imagine if you're just basically licking
60 days is a long time.
Potato.
Yeah. That's tough.
Crazy. But I mean, I wouldn't recommend anyone does that or any of the techniques we just involved, but make sure you get that clear defined line from when we started hot take roulette and when we were doing the rest of the episode. Otherwise it's going to be an absolute mess and we're not responsible for any of it.
Our 5-star rating on Spotify is going way down.
Oh dear. Talking of which, we've moved some things around. For those of you that have noticed in the last couple of weeks, we've done a complete rebranding for what I might as well call a new season for the podcast. So we've got new logos. If you're watching this online or even listening, you probably heard that there's a new intro song. There was a new intro in general to the YouTube, or again, if you're watching on Spotify, which is another thing. We're now being hosted by Spotify directly, which is exciting.
Yep.
More opportunities through that, including you can now subscribe, follow, and leave comments on Spotify. If we put a poll in our description, so if we ask you guys a specific question, you can go and answer it on Spotify. You can engage, you can review. You can also then do the exact same stuff on YouTube. We're not going anywhere. However, if you enjoy the game so much and sometimes you're like, oh, I wish I could just go and watch the game. I've listened to the podcast when I was at work, but I want to watch the game. Guess what? We're posting that separately. So you can go and watch that now, which means that's another reason to go like and subscribe. If you weren't aware of our goals, we've got some lofty goals and any subscribe and any like would be fantastic. If you're not already doing it, where can they find us on social media to follow?
At MindSets Podcast.
At MindSets_podcast.
You put me on the spot there. I was like,
no, that was really neat.
But on all social media, all platforms, it's the same. It's nice and easy to find. And yeah, lots of opportunities to get involved.
Yeah, and if you want to message either of us directly, you can go to Strava for Charles at the moment, but then you can come to me at Angus_Cook. And yeah, otherwise, anything else from you?
I don't think so. I think that's it.
Awesome. In which case, I look forward to seeing you guys all next week in the next episode.